Qiao Ran didn't expect to have her first love again many years later. Not only did they meet on a blind date, but the other party even proposed to get married. Forgive her surprise, she always thought that Gu Heng didn't like her and was just used to her company. Unexpectedly, Gu Heng's attitude towards her changed, he changed his aloof demeanor and became more gentle. And what happened around them also deepened their relationship. Chapter 1. The Tragic Man. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A beautiful day was like a bolt from the blue to Qiao Ran. Who would have thought that a seemingly loyal and honest boyfriend would actually cheat? He's such a scumbag. Qiao Ran looked at the two people hugging not far away and couldn't help but believe her friend's words. Those two should have had their situation a long time ago. However, her friend had previously reminded her that she accidentally saw her boyfriend shopping with other girls and his behavior was still very intimate, but she didn't take it to heart. Well, looking at it this way, no wonder when I was dating my boyfriend before, he always found reasons to leave alone and make phone calls. Fortunately, Qiao Ran thought he was really blind for work. Although looking at the ex-men and women in front can be frustrating, it is not advisable to confront each other in public places. If you argue, it may affect the city's appearance, and most importantly, it may cause embarrassment. Qiao Ran suppressed her anger and constantly reminded herself to remain calm. Take a deep breath, exhale. Then dial my friend Wu Xinyan's phone number. The other end of the phone answered, "Baby, what's going on?" Qiao Ran's rare anger was suppressed. As soon as she heard her friend's voice, her emotions skyrocketed. Yan, it's my fault I didn't hear you all morning. Just now, I saw Gu Yang hugging another girl. Come out and see her, I'm going to explode. After chatting for a while and arranging a meeting place, the two hung up the phone. Qiao Ran hurriedly rushed to the coffee shop, and at the moment she saw Wu Xinyan, her tears could no longer be suppressed. Let me cry for a minute, Wu, Qiao Ran said and hugged Wu Xinyan. Okay, baby, cherish life and stay away from scumbags. Wu Xinyan felt sorry for Qiao Ran, gently patting her back to comfort her, constantly comforting her that it was okay, and even thoughtfully drawing a piece of paper to wipe Qiao Ran's tears. How dare he? He usually looks quite honest, so I can rest assured of him. If he wants to cheat, it should be me who cheated first. Okay, Qiao Ran's words are astonishing. Wu Xinyan knows that friends are not a big problem, at most they are betrayed and can't be angry. So Wu Xinyan was also helpless. Look, I just said that blind dates are unreliable and I don't even know what the other person is. Upon hearing this, Qiao Ran slowly lifted her head and sat up straight, her gaze gradually becoming firm. Yan, although I haven't been with him for 3 months, seeing him cheating with my own eyes will still make me sad. Initially, Qiao Ran agreed to a blind date with her family because she was almost 30 years old and didn't want her parents to worry. Secondly, because Gu Yang's family conditions are indeed quite good, and if we get along well, we can also consider getting married. But this was betrayed for no reason, and Qiao Ran was really angry. There must be an explanation for the situation. Wu Xinyan knows Qiao Ran's personality. Although Qiao Ran is usually very easygoing, when faced with things, her sister Ran never shows mercy and will never show mercy when it's time to take action. What are you going to do? Do you need my help? Tear the mistress together by hand. Wu Xinyan had a serious expression on her face, offering advice. She was a bit impatient, and the scene was so exciting to think of. No need, I won't do anything to him, nor can I do anything to him. Although I really want to find someone to put a nylon bag on him and beat him up, now it's a rule of law society. As law-abiding citizens, of course we must abide by the law. I will only give him a small punishment and vent my anger. Qiao Ran really doesn't have many thoughts, and she couldn't have a deep affection for Gu Yang at first. At most, the two of them have reached out and have not had any further communication. This state is like being friends or having a romantic relationship. In fact, Qiao Ran couldn't explain clearly either. Speaking of love, she wasn't sure, maybe she needed more. But when Wu Xinyan saw Qiao Ran's fighting spirit rise, she hoped in her heart that Gu Yang could seek his own blessings, and she silently mourned for him for 2 seconds in her heart. After all, angry Qiao Ran is also very terrifying. Chapter 2 Punishing Scumbags. Encountering First Love by Chance. True Dog Blood. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next day, Qiao Ran called Gu Yang and arranged to meet him, and even made a special appointment at the restaurant where the two met on their first blind date. In the restaurant, Qiao Ran looked at the cream cake hidden in her bag. It was about the size of a palm, and the cream was still thick enough to cover her face. She was very satisfied in her heart. Sitting across from him, Gu Yang was completely unaware and eagerly asked Qiao Ran what she wanted to eat. Gu Yang, you seem quite busy lately. We don't even have time to schedule meals. Qiao Ran pretended to be relaxed, as if nothing had happened. It's quite busy. The company has recently taken on a big project and has to work overtime almost every night. Gu Yang is still carefully looking at the menu. But it seems like I saw you in the mall yesterday. Gu Yang's expression was clearly taken aback, but soon returned to normal. He quickly explained, how could that be? I was in the office yesterday, so you should have read it wrong, right? Qiao Ran knew it would be like this. Although she was feeling very emotional for a while yesterday, she cleverly took photos as evidence. The key pictures were taken very clearly, and with this evidence, Gu Yang couldn't rely on it. Qiao Ran placed her phone on the desktop and enlarged the facial features of the two people in the picture, saying, then you can see clearly. I would like to hear your explanation. Gu Yang took his phone, and when he saw the two people in the photo clearly, a chill suddenly rose in his heart. Ran, listen to my explanation, things are not what you think. During the days when Gu Yang and Qiao Ran were together, although they didn't know each other well, they were also aware of Qiao Ran's personality, and she was not a good person to be perfunctory. It still needs to be explained well now, but the truth is a bit difficult to explain for a while. Qiao Ran raised her eyebrows and snorted coldly, then you should explain it well. I will listen carefully to what you say. Gu Yang looked incredulous, but still asked nervously, then I explained. You won't be angry, will you? Ah-ha. Qiao Ran let out a nasal sound, signaling him to continue. She's my ex-girlfriend, separated for many years, and recently met by chance. As for her hugging me, it's not as you think, it's because she's sick and in a bad mood. She asked me to chat, that's all. Gu Yang stole a glance at Qiao Ran's expression, and he didn't dare to take a big breath. This ant is really hard to mess with. So that's the case, does she know you have a girlfriend? I know, I told her from the beginning, but she said she didn't have any thoughts and just wanted to see me. Qiao Ran sneered and said, oh, dare you be a white lotus flower. You really know how to pretend. Ah, but your behavior is too intimate, and coupled with being your ex, this relationship can't be cut off, it's still chaotic. Qiao Ran didn't want to be angry, but she didn't want to forgive either. Although she couldn't say she had too deep feelings for Gu Yang, her bottom line was being focused on emotions. Besides, seeing Gu Yang's indecisive way of handling emotions, she naturally didn't believe that she had no thoughts about her ex. Since it's broken, shouldn't the ex be like a rock sinking into the sea, never meeting again? What else will we see next? The most important thing is that the two of them even hugged each other, and in the case of the man having a girlfriend, isn't this just cheating? Ran, I hope you don't get angry. I won't see her again in the future. Can we continue to be good together? Gu Yang felt a bit anxious in his heart. He was very satisfied with Qiao Ran's family situation, and if he could get married in the future, it would also be beneficial for his career development. No, let's just say goodbye. I don't think we need to see each other again in the future. Qiao Ran didn't want to say anything more. She reached out to her bag, took out the cream cake, opened the packaging, and said to Gu Heng, "This is a parting gift for you, don't waste it." Before Gu Heng could react, he was already covered in cream cake. The comical appearance made the guests at the neighboring table cover their mouths and giggle, indicating that they were also watching the excitement. "You." Gu Heng felt aggrieved in his heart. He was really angry. Although he usually doesn't show his emotions, at least he is a businessman. When he goes out, his face is still important. But due to the cream cake on his face was yellow and white, and others couldn't see his face turning red with anger. Qiao Ran was also too lazy to pay attention to Gu Yang's embarrassment. She clapped her hands and got up, then picked up her bag and left, leaving Gu Yang alone in a chaotic wind. Qiao Ran also breathed a sigh of relief, knowing that being angry with a girl is harmful to her physical and mental health. So, if you have anger, you should speak out on the spot, even if there was still a hint of unbearable feeling in your heart at that time. Qiao Ran shook her head, set aside her messy thoughts, and quickly walked out of the coffee shop door, only to accidentally bump into someone. "Ah, I'm sorry." Qiao Ran instinctively apologized as soon as possible. "It's okay." The man's deep voice came, making it difficult to hear his emotions. "I saw the other person lightly patting the spot where I was hit." Qiao Ran frowned and couldn't help but look up, only then could she see the person's appearance clearly. This familiar face, tall figure, still has that serious and unsmiling appearance. But the other party only glanced at Qiao Ran, as if looking at a stranger with a cold gaze, and then walked towards the coffee shop. Also, when Qiao Ran dumped someone herself, could she still expect the other person's good looks? True dog blood, like a person sinking into a sea of rocks, suddenly met again. What about filming? There are so many things going on today. Qiao Ran suppressed her inexplicable confusion and didn't let herself think too much. Chapter 3. All those who spend money are grandpa. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Qiao Ran didn't have much ambition for her future, so she worked outside for 2 or 3 years and decided to return to her hometown to start a business. As for the direction of entrepreneurship, it is entirely out of personal preference. She likes flowers and plants, and when she came back, she rented a shop in the city and opened a flower shop. The store is not big, and there are only 3 people in total, including the staff and Qiao Ran herself. Life is also quite comfortable. When the store was busy, Qiao Ran would help organize the flowers, brush the vases, and occasionally run errands to deliver flowers. As for wrapping flower bouquets, these meticulous tasks were mostly done by the store staff. Because although Qiao Ran runs a flower shop, her own flower wrapping skills are average. Fortunately, the 2 salespeople she hired have rich experience. So the salary paid to the store staff is also high. After all, others are also part of the same effort, part of the same harvest. She doesn't want to be an unscrupulous boss. In a few days, it will be Women's Day on March 8th. Generally, the sales of these holiday flowers have skyrocketed, and orders need to be placed a few days in advance to be arranged and processed in a timely manner. There is a large order, not far away, but in large quantity, and the customer requested that the boss personally deliver the goods to their doorstep. Qiao Ran hesitated for a moment, but after calculating the cost, there was still a lot of profit after deducting the fuel cost of driving back and forth, so she still took on the order. After all, no one would struggle with the money. She didn't think much about why the other party would ask the boss to personally deliver the goods to her doorstep. The 3 of them had already packaged the bouquet one night in advance, and on the morning of Women's Day, Qiao Ran set off to deliver the flowers. Qiao Ran followed the navigation and drove to the destination. In front of her was an office building, which appeared to have around 20 floors. After explaining her intention to the front desk, Qiao Ran borrowed a small cart to unload the flowers. A person came and went back and forth to reinstall 3 carts of flowers. "I thought I could just leave the flowers at the front desk, but I didn't expect the front desk to ask Qiao Ran to deliver the bouquet layer by layer. Upon hearing this request, Qiao Ran's smile froze for a moment, but she understood that she couldn't ruin her business reputation and could only agree. She reached out and touched her slightly stiff face, feeling fortunate that there was an elevator. According to the paper provided by the front desk, the required quantity for each floor was clearly written on the paper. Qiao Ran mechanically repeated the work in her hand and walked up the stairs layer by layer. She couldn't help but sigh in her heart. Alas, they are all slaves of money, who doesn't love money? As time passed by, Qiao Ran finally reached the last floor, as if she saw the dawn of victory. She kept cheering herself on in her heart. After handing the flowers to the administrative staff on the floor, Qiao Ran learned that she was going to their leadership office to collect the remaining payment. Yes, we only received a partial deposit at that time. But looking at the big words, General Manager's office, in front of her, Qiao Ran expressed confusion, but she also politely knocked on the door. The administrative staff has already reminded us that the General Manager's surname is Gu. After receiving permission from the people inside, Qiao Ran took the initiative to greet him when he entered the door. "Hello, Mr. Gu." After speaking, Qiao Ran looked up and was stunned. "What is the situation? Encountered again? Damn it, it's Gu Heng again, really damn it," but Qiao Ran still politely pulled out a smile. However, Gu Heng did not respond to Qiao Ran in a timely manner. He looked up at the person and continued to lower his head to process the documents in his hand. For a moment, the atmosphere was really a bit awkward. Qiao Ran had no choice but to speak again. She wanted to break this damn awkward situation, get the money, and quickly leave. What a coincidence, Mr. Gu," she said. "Unfortunately, I asked someone to arrange the flowers." After Gu Heng finished speaking, he looked up again at Qiao Ran. Well, Qiao Ran's mind has started to freeze. She doesn't know why, but she doesn't want to delve into the meaning of her words. All she wants is to take the money and leave. "Please take the envelope off the table." Gu Heng's voice remained neither cold nor warm. Okay, thank you. Then I'll leave first." Qiao Ran walked forward quickly, reached out to pick up the envelope, turned around, and walked away without even seeing the faint smile hidden in Gu Heng's eyes. After leaving the office building, Qiao Ran felt half of her soul come back and suddenly realized. Is Gu Heng playing with her? Sending flowers layer by layer? Is it outrageous? No matter what, she just feels outrageous. All evil capitalists spend their money with their masters. Poor little business person, she can only work tirelessly. Chapter 4. Memories of Death Suddenly Attack. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Qiao Ran sent a message to Wu Xinyan to meet at the rooftop cafe at 6 p.m. The two sisters usually like to drink coffee and gossip. But today Qiao Ran's state was too abnormal, not as enthusiastic as usual when meeting, and there was also a lack of conversation. Wu Xinyan was a bit worried about her old friend and asked, Ran, what's wrong with you? You're not still sad for Gu Yang, are you? Qiao Ran sighed and said, No, it's not him. I saw Gu Heng today. No, to be precise, it's the second time I've seen him in many years. How could it be so coincidental? You haven't been in contact for many years, haven't you? And it wasn't you who dumped her back then. Wu Xinyan frowned in confusion, knowing only a rough idea of what happened back then. Yeah, I didn't expect to meet him again. At that time, I was still young and didn't understand love. I had a love brain, but when it comes to dividing, it's also dividing. Qiao Ran was melancholic. She didn't expect that even after so many years, she still couldn't let go, even though it was her own proposal to break up. Back in the day, Qiao Ran met Gu Heng in college at the school library. She admitted that most of the reason she fell in love with Gu Heng was because of her desire to see her. However, Gu Heng's grades were also excellent, and his personality was calm and quiet. He was indeed likable at the time. The library at night was quiet, with occasional sounds of typing on the computer keyboard and flipping through books. Students at all levels were preparing for the final exams. It's really hard work. I thought it was just a sprint in the college entrance examination, and everyone worked so hard. I didn't expect to go to college. Those who worked hard have been working hard, no wonder others are excellent. Qiao Ran pouted and silently looked at the boy sitting at the desk in front of him. He could only see the boy burying his head in the book, occasionally flipping pages, and not hearing anything outside the window, as if everything in the world had nothing to do with him. After investigation, Qiao Ran found out the other party's name, Gu Heng, who was also in the same grade as herself. I just placed a bottle of water in front of him, but I don't know if he noticed. For a period of time afterwards, Qiao Ran would occasionally bring drinks or snacks to Gu Heng. These actions are all heart-wrenching girls that cannot be hidden. Gu Heng didn't refuse, but he didn't say anything. Qiao Ran even suspected that he really didn't know who sent it, but he dared to accept it. Strange. It's time for the new semester, and Qiao Ran is arranged by the class to receive the new students. I didn't expect to see Gu Heng, let alone help carry luggage. What about the agreed high and cold character? Afterwards, the new student group arranged for everyone to have dinner together. A classmate suggested playing a game midway, and everyone started a true story adventure. When the bottle turned to Gu Heng, a classmate boldly asked when Gu Heng's first kiss was. Gu Heng's face was not very good, at least Qiao Ran thought so, but she was also very curious. I choose the Great Adventure, Gu Heng said and reached out to randomly grab the note for the Great Adventure mission. At the moment the note was opened, Qiao Ran felt Gu Heng's face turn even darker, and she didn't know if it was an illusion. What is it, what is it? Open it up and take a look. A group of onlookers kept shouting. Someone snatched the note and read it out. Find the girl present and offer a kiss on the forehead. Qiao Ran was speechless. There were not many girls present, and I didn't know what Gu Heng was thinking. The people present looked at Gu Heng with hot eyes, and now Gu Heng should not be able to escape. She. Everyone looked at the direction of Gu Heng's fingers and turned to Qiao Ran. Well, Qiao Ran had some fantasies before, but I didn't expect it would really be her. I saw Gu Heng slowly walking over, and Qiao Ran felt like she was about to lose her breath. She also heard her accelerating heartbeat, thump 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 thump. He's here, he's really here. But even if Qiao Ran likes Gu Heng, being kissed on the forehead in front of everyone, it's still very embarrassing. So why don't you close your eyes, woo-woo, I offended you, Gu Heng said and kissed Qiao Ran on the forehead. Qiao Ran not only felt Gu Heng's gentle movements, but also smelled a faint smell of alcohol on him. However, before she could react, Gu Heng had already sat back in place. At this point, there is no shortage of classmates to cheer on. It seems that Qiao Ran likes Gu Heng. Does Gu Heng also like Qiao Ran? Then everyone began to discuss. Qiao Ran felt sad in her heart. Please, gossip is necessary. Can you not ignore the parties involved? But what can she say? If she were to speak up at this moment, everyone would discuss more vigorously, right? Her liking cannot be expressed in such an occasion, it's a headache. Qiao Ran secretly looked at Gu Heng, whose face remained calm. Occasionally, he would drink some beer and listen quietly to the people next to him chatting. When everyone left, Qiao Ran quickly ran back to the dormitory. She didn't want to stay any longer, it was too torturous. Unexpectedly, the next day Gu Heng added Qiao Ran's WeChat, which was added from the new student pickup group. After Qiao Ran passed, she sent a message to Gu Heng saying, hello, and the other party replied with, hello, as well. Do you want to watch a movie? My friend gave me 2 tickets for a science fiction movie. Upon seeing the message sent by Gu Heng again, Qiao Ran once doubted her own eyes or whether she had added the wrong person. But the other party is indeed Gu Heng, damn it. However, Qiao Ran was still secretly pleased in her heart, and Gu Heng should know that she liked him. Later on, the two occasionally made plans to meet, and everything went naturally. Qiao Ran asked Gu Heng what kind of person she was in his mind, and Gu Heng replied with the words, brave. Okay, even if you don't like this answer, you can only accept it, right? How many words do you still want to hear in Gu Heng's precious words? Time flies quickly, everyone is about to graduate. The relationship between Qiao Ran and Gu Heng is very subtle. It may seem like a romantic relationship, but in fact, their way of getting along is more like friends. Gu Heng speaks less, and usually when they meet, Qiao Ran talks and shares various interesting things. When she is busy with her studies, Qiao Ran will also take the initiative to send messages to Gu Heng, saying good morning and good night. Gu Heng's attitude has always been cold, and her replies are only, and good, unable to guess her emotions, feeling like chatting with a robot. Why did the last two people separate? Because when he graduated, Gu Heng had to go abroad for further studies. Originally, Qiao Ran wanted to go abroad together, but her father fell seriously ill and needed a major surgery. Qiao Ran struggled inwardly and had a long ideological struggle with herself. I understand that even if I like Gu Heng, my father is still important. For Gu Heng, after spending so much time together, it feels like he's holding onto a stone and hasn't felt his love. Qiao Ran's heart was tired, perhaps she really should give up and didn't want to be his follower anymore. A few days before Gu Heng went abroad, Qiao Ran sent him a message saying that their personalities were not suitable and they could not go abroad together. They should not contact each other again in the future. After sending the message, Gu Heng was blacklisted. The love in her youth was naive yet pure. It was false to say she wasn't sad, but Qiao Ran just wanted to cry. But when Gu Heng saw the information, he felt an indescribable emotion in his heart, instantly filling his heart. He wanted to retrieve the information, only to find that he had been blocked by the other party. In the days that followed, the two really never contacted again. Pulling back her drifting thoughts, Qiao Ran took a sip of coffee and said softly, "It's all in the past. Young love, sincere but cheap." Wu Xinyan didn't want to delve deeper and comforted, a good woman should look forward. With the vastness of the world, why fall in love with a single blade of grass? If it should be yours, it will be yours. Chapter 5. Dating again and encountering first love again. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Qiao Ran received a call from her mother, promising to go home for dinner this weekend. At the dinner table, Qiao's mother asked Qiao Ran, Ran, did you break up with Gu Yang? Qiao Ran was not surprised how her mother knew, after all, it was a blind date arranged by her family at that time. Qiao Ran calmly replied, yes, it's divided. I thought you would reach the point of discussing marriage. Gu Yang's family conditions are similar to ours, and he won't be wronged even if he gets married. Qiao's mother looked slightly disappointed. Mom, don't worry, our personalities don't match, and breaking up is likely to happen sooner or later. It seems that the family doesn't know the real reason for the breakup, and Qiao Ran doesn't want to say it, so as not to worry too much about her parents. By the way, Aunt Zhang said there's a good young man. Would you like to go and take a look? Qiao's mother changed the topic and she heard someone introduce him. The young man was excellent in all aspects. Ran, you're not young anymore. As parents, we hope you get married soon and have your own happiness. After all, my mother and I can't accompany you for many years. Father Qiao couldn't help but speak out. Since his father fell ill, his face has aged a lot. Qiao Ran was momentarily speechless and looked at her parents, thinking that the family had already discussed it, but she couldn't refuse. Okay, after you schedule a time with the other party, let me know and I will be on time for the appointment. Qiao Ran can only say that. After finishing her meal, Qiao Ran left home and returned to the small apartment she rented. Although there is a villa at home to live in, it is still convenient to rent due to the distance from the store. The meeting was scheduled for 2 days later, and Qiao Ran arrived at the restaurant in the city on time. Unexpectedly, I met Gu Heng again. The available seat number is clearly correct, how could it be him who came? Gu Heng looked at the person in front of him with slightly widened eyes and an incredulous expression on his face, which was indeed a bit cute. Qiao Ran shook her head, turned around, and asked with a skeptical expression, "Are you the person I'm going to go on a blind date with today?" "Yes." Gu Heng, as always, cherishes his words like gold. Qiao Ran wanted to roll her eyes, speechless. She just trusted her family and didn't ask for their detailed information, so she came straight to the appointment. Blame myself, at least I asked for his name in advance, but when I knew it was him, I wouldn't come. "Sit down." Gu Heng's voice seemed magical, and Qiao Ran couldn't help but sit down. "I really want to escape," this is Qiao Ran's true words. Ran, we haven't seen each other for a long time." Gu Heng is as enthusiastic as meeting old friends. "Damn it, haven't you seen it before? Don't you remember the flower delivery?" Qiao Ran really wants to provoke others, but she still needs to endure it and can complete the task soon. Yes, blind dates are tasks. Take a deep breath, Qiao Ran brainwashed herself. Then Qiao Ran wore a polite but not awkward smile on her face and said, "Really? A smile is right." Gu Heng remained silent for a moment, holding the menu and starting to order. The dishes arrived, but Qiao Ran remained silent and ate silently. Upon seeing this, Gu Heng didn't say much and picked up his chopsticks to eat slowly. After taking a few bites, Qiao Ran found that the taste was really good and suited her taste. She thought she could come to this restaurant frequently in the future. The idea is quite honest. But in less than 5 seconds, Qiao Ran was a bit angry and had lost her mind. She couldn't be bribed by a meal, so she quickly left after finishing. As the food was almost finished, Gu Heng said, "Do you want any dessert?" "Yes." When Qiao Ran heard what she said, she wanted to bite off her tongue. What else would she eat for dessert? It's so scary. After finishing the dessert, Gu Heng suggested that the two of them go out for a walk. Qiao Ran originally wanted to refuse in her heart, but her legs still followed Gu Heng by a stroke of fate. Qiao Ran shouted in her heart, "Oh my goodness, who will save me? Can't I still resist Gu Heng's beauty? Ran, do you want to marry me?" The two remained silent, but Gu Heng broke the deadlock first. What? Qiao Ran thought she had heard wrong for a moment and looked at Gu Heng with a surprised expression on her face. However, Gu Heng remained calm and said, "Since we have both chosen blind dates and our family conditions are quite suitable, we can consider getting married." Oh my God. What is this man talking about? Qiao Ran was so surprised that she could even put eggs in her mouth. Think about it, is it appropriate to discuss marriage based on their current relationship? Is it appropriate for us to discuss this? Qiao Ran couldn't help but ask her doubts. Suitable, we got along quite happily, I believe it's both in the past and in the future. Gu Heng's attitude is very firm. But for Qiao Ran, it was too shocking. What kind of nonsense was that? Is this person in front of me really Gu Heng, not someone else pretending? Qiao Ran really wanted to reach out and peel off Gu Heng's face to see the real face inside, maybe it was fake. We're not even friends now. Qiao Ran stabilized her emotions and said. Our relationship has never changed, only time is changing. Suddenly, Gu Heng looked at Qiao Ran with a deep affection on his face. Qiao Ran really wants to pinch her own people, it's really deadly. Is this Gu Heng? Isn't he as precious as gold in his words? Isn't he cold and aloof? She really wants to escape, woo, although I haven't explicitly expressed my love for you before, I have always been accustomed to your presence. During the days of separation, I realized very clearly that I like you and want to be with you. Getting married is the best thing. Besides, when you said goodbye, I never agreed. Gu Heng finished speaking and looked at Qiao Ran. A deep gaze, wait, deep affection. Gu Heng's deep affection. Qiao Ran's mind was already very disorganized, and she didn't know how to answer. You blacklisted me before. Let's remove the blacklist first. I know your little brain can't turn around for a while, so let's have a good chat later and take out your phone first. Qiao Ran's mind was still in a daze, but she instinctively cooperated with Gu Heng and took out her phone. Gu Heng held her hand and unlocked her phone, opening the chat app to start a conversation. All right. Gu Heng put his phone back into Qiao Ran's bag. Qiao Ran couldn't digest the received information for a moment and couldn't stay any longer. After saying, leave first, he took a taxi home by himself, but Gu Heng didn't stop him. She should think carefully now. Chapter 6. Suddenly changing into sticky sperm. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next morning, Qiao Ran received a message from Gu Heng, and the words, good morning, appeared on the phone interface. I scratched my hair in frustration. Last night, I didn't sleep well because of Gu Heng's words. Haven't seen each other for a few years, Gu Heng's personality seems to have changed, becoming softer. I don't know if it's my own illusion. Moreover, when Gu Heng mentioned getting married, he didn't know if it was because he proposed to part ways back then, in order to retaliate against him. Beauty is deceiving, how can we fall twice in one pit? Without a man in the heart, drawing a sword is natural. Take a deep breath. In the busy afternoon at the flower shop, Qiao Ran ordered herself to empty her mind and not think about things that were not there. It was important to take care of the flowers and plants with peace of mind. Ding! The message rang, and Gu Heng sent a message, let's have dinner together. Qiao Ran almost shook her hand and dropped her phone, but fortunately she was agile. I didn't originally plan to reply to the message, but the message came again. Come over to pick you up after work. It's just that. I want to make it clear to Gu Heng that we shouldn't have any further interactions in the future. Let's just eat. A valuable sedan arrived at the door, and the clerk saw it and said to Qiao Ran, boss, look, it's a luxury car. Qiao Ran raised her eyes and frowned lightly, realizing that it was Gu Heng who got off the car. Oh, man, you're really showing off. Boss, that man is so handsome. The shop assistant had a silly expression on his face, almost staring at stars. Qiao Ran thought to herself, of course, a young girl in her early 20s is like this, longing for beautiful people and things. Seeing Gu Heng walking in, the clerk was speechless, and Qiao Ran didn't want to waste time. She hurriedly picked up her bag and followed Gu Heng into the car. I thought the car would go straight to the restaurant, but I didn't expect to drive to the beach. Qiao Ran opened the car window, blowing the sea breeze, and her mind was indeed clear. The car pulled over and the two got off together. Before, you said you liked watching the sea, Gu Heng said as he gazed into the distance. I didn't expect you to remember. Qiao Ran thought he didn't remember, after all, the two of them had never been to the beach before, only Qiao Ran mentioned liking the sea. Qiao Ran closed her eyes, felt the sea breeze, smelled the faint salty taste, and the dusk light hit her face, giving her a hint of warmth. Her mood relaxed, it was really good. Growing up in coastal cities and not far from the seaside, I lacked the mood to come and walk alone. Let's go eat. The drifting thoughts were pulled back by Gu Heng. The dining place is at a large street stall by the seaside. Although it is a street stall, it is located in the coconut forest with its back to the seaside. Looking at the small colorful lights entwined on the coconut poles, accompanied by the sea breeze, it also has a unique atmosphere. Seafood should have been pre-ordered and served shortly after sitting down. Gu Heng didn't speak and started peeling crabs. Skilled in technique, he quickly peeled off one and put it into Qiao Ran's bowl. I'll do it myself. Qiao Ran wanted to refuse, but Gu Heng peeled another shrimp with a few strokes. You eat first. Gu Heng's tone was irresistible. Okay, eat as you please, Qiao Ran sighed secretly. But after tasting it, the seafood is indeed fresh and delicious. After the two finished their meal, Gu Heng said he wanted to talk. He booked a room tonight and there were no other people present, so we could have a good chat. Well, money can't be wasted like this, can't it? Qiao Ran couldn't help but complain. Ran, have you thought about my proposal to get married yesterday? Gu Heng brought up the matter again. I really don't know how to answer you. How could I figure it out in such a short time? Ask your heart, do you really don't like me anymore? Gu Heng's tone suddenly became sad. I don't think our relationship has reached the point of discussing marriage. Qiao Ran was also helpless, and could not help roast. Dog man, you have really changed, you were not like this before. And I feel that our current relationship is quite strained, I don't know how to break it, Qiao Ran shrugged. This man used to be cold and aloof, but he couldn't accept his current changes for a while. After all, it was his own suggestion to separate, and he still felt guilty inside. However, this man's attitude was indeed not good in the past. Ran, we used to be pretty good, there's no need to change anything. Gu Heng's tone was firm. When you said to part ways, I didn't really think about it. I was also wrong, please forgive my young age. After all these years of separation, I have come to think very clearly. I have always liked you. Gu Heng's tone became more serious and serious. Don't you blame me. I used to think you didn't like me, you just got used to my existence. Qiao Ran was really puzzled. I remember seeing you stand up for the wrong female classmate and seeing you deliver me various foods and drinks in the library, and I also enjoy listening to you. Wait, then you called me brave back then because you saw me stand out for a female classmate. Qiao Ran caught a different focus. Back then, she did scold her boyfriend for being a wrong female classmate, because that man was being promiscuous, and she didn't expect to be seen by Gu Heng. Ran, your focus is off topic. What I'm saying is that I've always liked you. Gu Heng also felt helpless, as the child's brain circuits were really different. Okay, let me think about it again. As the night grew deeper and the sea breeze grew stronger, the two of them didn't come to a conclusion and went back. Qiao Ran returned home and had just finished washing up when she received a message from Gu Heng. Wash and rest early, good night. Qiao Ran really doesn't feel good. Let's not talk about the reasons for the separation back then, but Gu Heng's personality is also too different, right? Feeling sticky, is it an illusion? She felt that she really needed to consider their relationship carefully. These days are also too magical. First love suddenly appears, not only ignoring past grievances, but also proposing marriage. This plot is too bloody. Not normal, really not normal. Chapter 7. Promise to register marriage. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Qiao Ran admitted that she still liked Gu Heng, even though she hadn't seen him for many years, she still kept this feeling hidden in her heart and couldn't deceive herself. Back then, when I said I was going to part ways, I also regretted it, and the reason for breaking up seems difficult to establish now. The idea at that time was really immature. During the days spent with Gu Heng, although he rarely took the initiative, upon reflection, he was still quite indulgent towards himself. The two of them have vastly different personalities. Qiao Ran talks a lot, and every time she shares something, Gu Heng never refutes anything and listens quietly. Perhaps he really cares about himself too. When Gu Heng proposed to get married, he also had feelings for it. Qiao Ran felt like her brain was about to explode, it was really difficult to figure it out. Not long after, Qiao Ran received a call from her mother asking her to go home. After the three finished their meal, Qiao's parents began to inquire about the results of the blind date. Qiao Ran knew that the one who should have come couldn't escape. She roughly explained the situation, saying that the other party's overall conditions were good, and there were a lot of things to say, but she didn't dare to say that the other party was their first love boyfriend. After hearing this, Qiao's mother was very happy and said she could invite someone over for dinner another day. Qiao's father also means that as long as the other party treats Qiao Ran well, they as parents can accept it. Qiao Ran understood what her parents meant. From childhood to adulthood, her parents taught her to have independent thinking. As long as she did not engage in illegal or disciplinary activities, she would not interfere too much in her own life. She was considered in a semi-free-range state, and they only wanted her child to live happily and happily. I am really fortunate to have such open-minded parents. Although our family had average financial conditions when we were young, our father worked very hard, which is why we have the good days we have now. Leaving home, Qiao Ran made an appointment with a friend. After the meeting, Qiao Ran didn't hesitate and roughly told Wu Xinyan about what happened after the blind date with Gu Heng. Oh my goodness, what kind of magical plot is this? Wu Xinyan was also stunned upon hearing it. Well, do you also think it's outrageous? Qiao Ran helped her forehead with helplessness. I only have a rough idea of what happened to you back then. I thought that after so many years, you no longer liked him. But looking at you, I think it's an unforgettable old love. After all, it's first love. Wu Xinyan looked enlightened. To be honest, if he didn't show up in front of me, I wouldn't have taken the initiative to think of this kind of person. I shouldn't have been lingering on him in the past. Qiao Ran frowned, almost stirring her up. If you still like him, getting married is not something that cannot be considered. Nowadays, people go on blind dates just to get married. Instead of finding someone to make do with, it's better to try what you like. Wu Xinyan expressed her opinion. She really feels that it is difficult to reconcile with unsuitable people. Okay, I'll think about it again. Qiao Ran also felt that thinking too much was useless and troublesome, and only action could calm the restlessness in her heart. After speaking, he took his phone and sent a message to Gu Heng, scheduling a meeting tomorrow. A coffee shop. Qiao Ran ordered a drink and tiramisu for herself, 1 hour earlier than the agreed time. She hopes to have some dessert to reduce her nervousness, and while eating, she looks at the door, but in fact, she is still looking forward to meeting. About half an hour later, I saw Gu Heng's figure. He is still so handsome and tall, making it hard to look away. Indeed, beauty can be deceiving. Seeing someone approaching, Qiao Ran quickly called to sit down and ordered another cup of coffee. I want to talk about what we talked about last time, Qiao Ran said in a slightly embarrassed tone. So Ran, what do you think? I can promise you to get married, but not now. We can get along and see each other out. Okay, I didn't expect Gu Heng to readily agree. Then we can first obtain the certificate. Gu Heng's words changed effortlessly, as if saying that the weather is nice today. I'm afraid you'll regret it. Get the certificate first, you can keep it private for now, and make up for it after the wedding. But Gu Heng's tone was very serious, not like a lie. This. Qiao Ran didn't expect the words to change so quickly, but she could only nod in agreement. Gu Heng's speed was very fast, and he met at the entrance of the Municipal Civil Affairs Bureau about a few days later. Qiao Ran deliberately went home to get her household registration book, but she didn't dare to tell her parents the truth, so she found a reason to evade it. She felt a bit guilty in her heart, feeling too rebellious, but it was really difficult for her to speak up. It would be better to explain it later. So, the two of them obtained their marriage certificates. Qiao Ran looked at the marriage certificate in her hand, feeling confused and even confused, but this was actually true because the red notebook was already in her hands. How will the two of them get along in the future? Qiao Ran's head grew bigger, and in this matter, it seemed like Gu Heng was in charge. She obeyed. Chapter 8. Moving to a new home. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Since obtaining the certificate, Gu Heng has only occasionally contacted Qiao Ran because his work is indeed very busy, resulting in fewer meetings between the two. For Qiao Ran, life seemed to be the same, busy with the flower shop, occasionally meeting and chatting with friends, and going shopping. But these days were so good that Qiao Ran almost forgot her identity as a wife. Looking at the message sent by Gu Heng in front of me, he said he had bought a new house and suggested that the two of them move in together. Qiao Ran thought of such a day, but it came too soon. But she obediently packed her luggage. Anyway, there weren't many things, just a suitcase. Following the location sent by Gu Heng, she drove over by herself. Following the navigation to the villa area, it should be a newly built villa area in recent years. Qiao Ran had seen relevant advertisements, and when she arrived at the location of the house, she found that someone was already waiting at the door. "Miss Qiao. I'm the new butler, just call me Aunt Li." The speaking aunt looked friendly. "Yes, Aunt Li, hello." Qiao Ran politely greeted. Aunt Li enthusiastically helped carry the suitcase into the house. Qiao Ran then carefully saw the layout of the house, which was a 2-story building with a small garden and a swimming pool on one side of the garden. The environment around the house is also well constructed and slightly far from other buildings, so there is no need to worry about privacy issues. "Miss Qiao, your room is on the second floor, and I have already taken the suitcase up." Aunt Li warmly welcomed her again. "Aunt Li, don't be so polite in the future. Just call me Ran Ran." Qiao Ran wanted to feel more at ease. "Okay, I'll go cook." "Please wait a moment," said Aunt Li as she walked towards the kitchen. Qiao Ran remembered that she had forgotten to send a message to Gu Heng. She took out her phone and briefly sent him a few words before heading towards the second-floor room. Seeing the open room, Qiao Ran guessed that it should be her own room, and the luggage inside also confirmed her idea. The size of the room was okay, the furniture needed was all ready, as well as large French window and warm-colored curtains, which were not bad. But there's a question, should we share the same bed with Gu Heng? The thought that came out of Qiao Ran's mind startled herself. Although she is a legal couple, she still can't accept sleeping together for the time being. It feels strange. Qiao Ran saw 2 more rooms and didn't know how Gu Heng would arrange them. "Never mind, I'll ask Gu Heng again when I see him." After checking the time, Auntie should have almost finished cooking. "Wow, it smells so good." Qiao Ran could smell the aroma of the food in the hallway and almost wanted to give her a thumbs up. The aroma really made her crave. "Aunt Li, the food you cooked is really delicious." Qiao Ran didn't hesitate to praise herself. Aunt Li smiled awkwardly and said, "It's okay, I hope you like it." 3 dishes and 1 soup were served, and Qiao Ran invited Aunt Li to eat together. Aunt Li even said she was sorry, so Qiao Ran simply pulled her to sit down. "Aunt Li, with so many dishes, I can't finish them all by myself, and it's even more delicious to eat with 2 people." "Okay, then." Aunt Li didn't hesitate and brought herself a bowl and chopsticks. The 2 of them had a pleasant meal and time passed. Qiao Ran asked about Aunt Li's general situation and found out that she came during the day and didn't stay here at night. After finishing dinner, Aunt Li washed the dishes and cleaned up before going back. Qiao Ran was also bored. She glanced at the store group and nothing happened. Although there are only 3 people in the group, anyone who has something will take the initiative to send messages in the group. Since there was nothing to do, just take the tablet and follow the drama. Thinking of this, Qiao Ran simply opened the suitcase and took out the tablet. "Do you want to stop sending a message to Gu Heng and see when he can come back?" Qiao Ran really doesn't want to admit that she misses him. During the time of watching the drama, it was unknowingly 9 o'clock in the evening. Gu Heng replied to the message earlier, saying only that he needed to work overtime and come back later, unsure of the specific time of return. After watching the play, Qiao Ran packed her luggage and went to take a shower first. After taking a shower, it was discovered that Gu Heng had not returned yet. Qiao Ran lay in bed, playing with her phone while waiting for someone to come back. I don't know how long it took, but Qiao Ran couldn't bear the drowsiness and fell asleep in a daze. Half asleep and half awake, Qiao Ran seemed to hear footsteps walking in. In a strange environment, she couldn't sleep soundly. When she opened her eyes, she found that it was Gu Heng. "What time is it?" Qiao Ran asked vaguely, trying to open her eyes, but she was too tired and dreamed that Zhou Gong had gone. Gu Heng felt amused as he was so tired and wanted to persevere. "It's 11:30, go to sleep," he said, lowering his head and kissing Qiao Ran's forehead. He walked towards the next room. Qiao Ran had fallen into a deep sleep, unable to ask any questions she wanted to ask. Chapter 9. Unique Intimate Contact. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When Qiao Ran woke up, it was already the next morning. When I woke up and found out that I was sleeping alone, I realized that Gu Heng had slept in another room last night because I was sure I saw him come back last night. After a simple wash, I found Aunt Li busy in the kitchen when I went downstairs. "Good morning, Aunt Li." Qiao Ran warmly greeted Aunt Li. "Good morning, Ran, ready to have breakfast." Aunt Li put the hot milk on the table. Qiao Ran looked at the table. There were steamed buns, deep-fried dough sticks, millet congee and hot milk on the table. "Aunt Li, you don't need to prepare so much next time, just keep it simple." Qiao Ran didn't want to trouble Aunt Li too much. "It's okay, then you can tell me what you want to eat in advance so that I can prepare it in advance." Aunt Li still happily turned around and went back into the kitchen busy. Halfway through breakfast, Qiao Ran finally remembered that there was still someone in the house and quickly asked Aunt Li, "Aunt Li, did you see Gu Heng this morning?" "The boss drove to the company an hour ago." Upon hearing Aunt Li's answer, Qiao Ran looked at the time on her phone. At 8:15, she thought she had woken up early enough, but she didn't expect Gu Heng to be even earlier. It seemed that she was really busy. After finishing breakfast, Qiao Ran dressed up a bit and drove to the shop to start busy with the flower shop work. In the afternoon, Qiao Ran received a message from Gu Heng saying that she would go home for dinner. Before Qiao Ran returned home, she bought a small cake from a dessert shop near the flower shop. Knowing that Gu Heng didn't like sweets, she only bought 2 portions. When I returned home, I found that dinner was already prepared on the table, with 5 dishes and 1 soup, which was very sumptuous. "Aunt Li, thank you for your hard work. I brought you a small cake." Qiao Ran placed the small cake in her hand on the table. "But Aunt Li is not in the kitchen. Aunt Li has something to do and has already left early," Gu Heng's voice came in. "So let's eat?" Qiao Ran asked. "If you don't eat it again, the food will also be cold." Gu Heng nodded. At the dinner table, the two of them had no topics to talk about. In order to break the awkwardness in the air, Qiao Ran specifically shared today's observations. Although the content was not very nutritious, Gu Heng was indeed listening. Ran, don't be constrained, this is also your home." Gu Heng knew that Qiao Ran was afraid of embarrassment. After finishing the meal, Qiao Ran tidied up the dishes and prepared to start washing in order to keep herself busy. "Let me do it," Gu Heng took the apron and skillfully washed the dishes. Qiao Ran had never seen such a down-to-earth Gu Heng before, and thought he wouldn't touch the spring water with his 10 fingers. "I often cook by myself when I'm abroad," Gu Heng explained. "Oh, that's it." Qiao Ran felt like Gu Heng saw through her. How could she know what she was thinking? It felt like the two of them were in the kitchen, feeling a bit crowded. Even though the space was large, it might be because Qiao Ran felt uncomfortable in her heart, so she said to take a shower. Qiao Ran didn't expect that after taking a shower, she could also fall. Perhaps the floor tiles were too slippery, and when she fell, she instinctively screamed in a low voice. Ran, are you okay?" Gu Heng stood at the bathroom door and asked, feeling nervous. When he heard screams, he rushed up immediately. I'm okay, just wait for me a moment. Qiao Ran felt a little dizzy, but her consciousness was very clear. She knew she shouldn't have a big problem. But now she's completely naked and really doesn't want to be seen, it's too shy. She sat up carefully and gently moved her limbs. After confirming that there was really nothing wrong, she breathed a sigh of relief. After all, as she was getting older, her bones were really unbearable to fall. Put on a bathrobe and tie it up before opening the bathroom door. Qiao Ran could tell that Gu Heng was really anxious, and his expression was filled with worry. I'm fine, Qiao Ran comforted in return. Really? Come out and let me take a look. Gu Heng helped Qiao Ran sit down by the bed. Seeing Gu Heng squatting down and wanting to lift his bathrobe, Qiao Ran was so scared that she stuttered. No, it's okay. No, let me take a look at the legs, Gu Heng insisted. Qiao Ran didn't think there was anything to refuse, just legs, and it wasn't that she couldn't look, so she tacitly agreed. But she forgot that she was in a vacuum state inside, and when Gu Heng lifted his bathrobe, Qiao Ran regretted it. He probably didn't see anything, did he? Qiao Ran prayed, otherwise she might have to find a seam drill. There's a bruise on my calf here, I'll go get an ice pack, Gu Heng said and walked downstairs. Qiao Ran took advantage of this moment and quickly went into the bathroom to put on her underwear. When Gu Heng came up again, she had already quickly sat back by the bed. Gu Heng carefully applied ice to Qiao Ran's calves and carefully examined her head and arms before finally letting go. Saying not to be moved is false. At this moment, Qiao Ran really wants to hug Gu Heng. Can I hug you? His mouth was running ahead of his mind, and Qiao Ran felt a bit regretful after speaking. But Gu Heng didn't say anything and directly reached out to hold Qiao Ran. Let's sleep together tonight. Gu Heng's grip on Qiao Ran deepened a bit. Ah! Qiao Ran expressed surprise. Don't worry, just sleep and don't think too much. Gu Heng's face showed a hint of smile. I didn't think much. Even Qiao Ran couldn't imagine her tone of voice being a bit shy. Qiao Ran slept in the same bed as a man for the first time, although she slept alone on one side, it was also very ambiguous. She couldn't describe her current mood, only hoping for quick dawn, and didn't know if she could fall asleep. It turned out that she was overthinking. Not only did she sleep soundly and in a dishonest sleeping posture, but she also rested her calves on Gu Heng's thighs. But she herself was not aware, only Gu Heng knew. Chapter 10. Uninvited Guests. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Since the night they slept in the same bed, Qiao Ran has hardly seen Gu Heng for almost a week now. Although I had contact with Gu Heng every day, I didn't see him. Qiao Ran missed him a bit, and before she knew it, Gu Heng walked into her life again, making her start to worry. Sigh, unconsciously sigh. Even the salesperson noticed Qiao Ran's abnormality and quickly asked her what was wrong. She was feeling depressed, was she sick? This made Qiao Ran realize that she couldn't continue like this anymore. Since Gu Heng was so busy, why not go and see him on her own? It's better to take action than to be tempted. Coincidentally, Aunt Lee sent a message asking her what she wanted for lunch, which would be great. She could send lunch to Gu Heng. Send him a message first and arrange to deliver lunch in advance to avoid running out of time. But I didn't expect an unexpected guest to come knocking on me. Ran. Gu Yang stood at the entrance of the store. Do you have anything to do? Qiao Ran really didn't want to see him again, unlucky. Ran, can we talk? Gu Yang looked expectant. Qiao Ran originally intended to refuse, but there are always curious people at the entrance of this shop. If Gu Yang says something that should not be said, it will affect business. Let's go to the nearby coffee shop, Qiao Ran gestured for Gu Yang to follow. A coffee shop. As soon as he sat down, Gu Yang eagerly grabbed Qiao Ran's hand, but Qiao Ran couldn't bear it either. He reached out and slapped the back of his hand. What's holding your hand? Can't you say something well? Qiao Ran frowned. Okay, let's talk about it. Gu Heng reached out his hand. Ran, I have already dealt with my ex's matter and she will not come to me again in the future. Can we be together well? But I don't want to be with you. Actually, it's not possible, but Qiao Ran didn't want to explain it too much. Why, didn't we get along well before? Gu Heng suddenly became emotionally agitated. There's no reason, the end is the end. Qiao Ran's head was a bit big, and she regretted agreeing. If there's nothing else, that's it. I'll leave first. Qiao Ran stood up and took his bag and left. Gu Heng grabbed her and said, Ran, don't do this. Can we talk again? Let go, in public, what do you want? Qiao Ran wanted to shake off Gu Heng's hand with disdain, but he held it too tightly and felt pain in his wrist. Damn it, won't you scratch your wrist red? Qiao Ran really wants to give him a kick. Ran, I just want us to continue being together. Unless you agree, I won't let go, Gu Heng said shamelessly. Oh my god, Qiao Ran used to think he was honest, but now why is he like this? Unreasonable and persistent in fighting. I guess the two of them are deadlocked. One of the guests couldn't see through and came over to help. How can a gentleman treat a lady like this? Why don't you let go of your hand? The two of them looked at the newcomer together, perhaps due to face saving. Gu Heng let go of his hand. Qiao Ran said thank you and was ready to leave the coffee shop. Unexpectedly, as soon as Qiao Ran walked out of the coffee shop, the customer chased after him. Madam, please stay. Qiao Ran didn't want to talk, but thinking about what had just happened, she politely turned around. May I ask if there is anything else? Qiao Ran spoke politely. My surname is Ling and my name is Xingchen. This beautiful lady, is it convenient to add a friend? Ling Xingchen even reached out his phone. Sorry, it's inconvenient. Qiao Ran was speechless. Just as she shook off Gu Heng, she didn't expect this person to follow suit. Ling Xingchen didn't give up and smiled, saying, Madam, don't be afraid. I'm a gentleman. I just returned to China and just want to make more friends. I don't have any other bad intentions. Qiao Ran didn't want to get too entangled, so she took advantage of Ling Xingchen speaking and turned around to run. Yes, I really ran away because it's almost lunchtime and I need to hurry back. Ling Xingchen, who had stayed behind, looked bewildered and thought to himself, are girls nowadays so defensive? Moreover, he is so handsome and his attire is also luxurious. How could he look like a bad person? He doesn't understand, he's really depressed.